sorry. All right, so, we feel this is during the slow season, so we're kind of excited that this experiment may work. Being as we brought in a couple $100 in just a week, even at this pace, we would be maybe $8,000 or $10,000. What's that? Sorry?
Colocou o free shuttle, né? O transporte grátis para os parques.
Boa. Isso é muito bom.
Colocou aluguel de. Aluguel de.
Sorry, I can't do the Spanish.
No, Ray, you have to mute him. I think he's accidentally talking.
Okay.
Daniel.
Sorry, guys. Ray, I was talking about how a great job you are doing here, man.
Okay, well, let us get through these motions. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of people doing this, but.
Sorry. Not on purpose.
So this is during our slow season. If this pace keeps up, which we think we could actually increase it, that's going to bring in maybe $8,000 to $10,000 into the association budget. I really want to make sure everybody realizes I sent out an email, and I hope that you're putting the stroller rental thing on your Airbnb listings, or whoever your property management company is, contact them and ask them to please add those pictures and some of those instructions. Now, we've got a little work on our end to do for processing the payments and things like that. But if we could really get these numbers up, I think I've said this before, if we get each unit owner to rent one stroller per month for $60, which you're not really doing the work, it's just going to happen organically with your pictures on there. One rental from your unit per month is going to equal about $85,000 a year, and that's going to take about $60 to $70 per month off of your association dues. So this is a really easy way to help us reduce the dues. All we're asking you to do is put the pictures and the little description on your listing, and then the guests can handle it from there when they come to the lobby, see the pictures or see the kiosk or something like that. It may not bring in these kind of numbers. We don't really know yet, but I can tell you so far that it's been a very positive action. So I'm going to make a motion to purchase 2 additional double strollers, since that seems to be where the need is, so that we temporarily don't run out of those, and then we'll reevaluate it in a couple months and see where that is. So I'm going to make a motion to add 2 more of the double strollers.
I will go ahead and second that motion.
Okay, Carlos. And any questions on those? Okay. Frank?
Yes.
All right, I'll vote yes. Carlos?
I vote yes.
Okay, that motion passes. All right. I'm not sure that I need to make this motion, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, because I've met some resistance from the current or previous management company. So any owner who is here helping in the building or somehow helping that has to purchase something that is approved by the board that is for the building or to help the building, if you bring a cash receipt and turn it in, and as long as, again, as it is approved by the board, we will reimburse you for that money. It has to be approved by the board prior to you purchasing it, or some sort of emergency or something like that. But I have 2 owners plus myself that have tried to turn in cash receipts and have not been reimbursed. So I'm going to make a motion that we always reimburse an owner if they're trying to help the building and have to do something in an emergency situation, or if they're just
Permitting it as board.
Yeah, help the board. So I think actually let's just go with that one, and I think I'm going to add another one in here too. Anybody want to second that?
I second that motion.
Okay, any questions on that?
Quick question, Ray.
All right.
If we're talking about an emergency, how do we get it pre-approved by the board rather than just trying to resolve the emergency?
Well, most of the time, my phone's on. I think everybody knows if they call me or text me, they get me pretty quick. If you really feel it's an emergency situation, it's unlikely that we're not going to reimburse you. I mean, if, you know, if a window gets broke and there's a bunch of glass laying there and you've got to run out and get some plywood and board up the window, to me, that's an emergency. We got to get that glass cleaned up and get the window boarded up. You know, if the vacuum cleaner's broke and we need a new vacuum cleaner, that's probably not an emergency. I don't, you know, part of these receipts we're talking about were not even emergencies. Some of the receipts that were turned in were for some paint samples that somebody went down to the store, bought the paint samples and a few other items to see if they worked, you know, because we're trying to figure out how to decorate and what to do. And this was, I want to say, $200, and that person still has not been reimbursed. I personally went down to Kinko's and printed some meeting minutes and agenda paperwork to bring into meetings. That money did not get reimbursed. I've got a couple trips to an attorney where I had to pay a consultation fee. That money didn't get reimbursed. It basically was, in my opinion, the management company just trying to be difficult. Let me clarify that. May not have been the management company. An employee with that management company was being difficult. Whether the management company had knowledge of that, I don't know. But there was definitely been some difficulty. I want to eliminate that problem. If we need something, quick phone call to us.
Ya lo
Go
moví.
ahead.
Se acá. Estaba conectado.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Estaba conectado. Ahora conectamos otra vez. Esto no mueve. ¿No? Aquí yo
Don't
lo
worry,
conecto.
Ray. I think they're missing
Keep
connection. You
Keep
can
going,
just
yeah.
mute them.
Okay,
If he's talking there.
okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
All right, so I'm gonna make that motion that we pay back petty cash receipts for emergency situations and reasonable things that the board has approved.
Approved by board members.
No es que
right?
lo podemos poner aquí.
Okay.
Lo conectamos ahí.
Not in a board meeting. but
Aquí conectado.
Approved by a board.
No
member.
estima.
Anybody want to second that?
Frank seconded.
Con eso no pasa nada.
Okay.
I
And,
second the motion.
okay. Actually, I'm sorry, Carlos already had done that.
Oh.
Just a minute, Ray. I mean, I agree to those changes in motion, just to make sure everybody's straight on this. What will be the first step or the steps if any situation like this happens? We should reach to you first, or the management company, Platinum, or how would it go?
Chances
Manager.
are you'll be able to reach the management company. They've got a lot of people on staff and on call. So those numbers are going out in these new emails. You'll be able to reach out to them quickly. If for some reason you don't get them, you could try one of the board members, but I feel like you'll get them very quickly and they'll be able to tell you. They will likely already be doing it or sending somebody or taking care of it. I think this is honestly kind of a useless motion. We really shouldn't even have to make a motion for it, but because we were having difficulties, I'm just gonna eliminate the problem. Frank, how do you want to vote on that?
I vote yes.
Carlos?
I vote yes as well.
Okay, I'll vote yes, that one passes. All right, I've got two more here.
May I ask, Grace, may
Yeah.
I ask, for the management company, the purchase of things and how we spend the money, they have the discretion to have the contracts signed, or how does it work in terms of their
They-
managing the vendors?
Okay, let me address that. And actually, while I'm talking about the management companies, I'm gonna go back to Victor from 413, his question. Let me ask a question of somebody real quick before I start answering. Do you actually manage individual units or just associations?
Just the association.
Okay.
Not a real estate.
Got it. All right, I wanted to clarify something that I thought was correct. So Grace, to answer your question, the board meets normally in December and passes a budget. Now, this year is a little different, and we are getting ready to have a budget meeting and pass a new budget, adapt a new budget. But in December of every year in the past, the board has met and created and passed a budget. The management companies are supposed to follow that budget and pay the bills according to that budget, which is one of the problems we've already had, is they have incorrectly paid some labor and some other things without passing the correct motions. So that management company works from the budget that the board passes. And certain things are not listed like in detail. We may have $10,000 in a furniture budget. So we'll instruct them to go buy some furniture from that budget. Or a piece of furniture may break, so they'll replace it from that budget. But 90% of the time, they're going to be in contact with the board members and say, hey, this chair just broke. Do you want us to replace it, or do you want to look at something else? So they do have some discretion, but not full discretion. Basically, they work within the budget that we give to them to work through. Is that helpful, or would you like more detail on that one?
Yeah, it's helpful, but so do they have do they have signing authority? And then what's the any limit on the signing authority?
Yes, they have signing authority.
I mean, that we are allowed for up to $1,000 of unbudgeted discretionary spending without coming to the board, and that's because of emergencies.
Okay,
Anything that's contracted, you pay that because you have a contract. Anything else, the board has to give approval.
okay. So she's refreshing my memory a little bit. They have up to $1,000 of discretionary spending for things that would be emergencies. Everything else is based on the budget that the board has approved and told them to spend money on. And let me give you another detail about the budget itself, because we're going to be having a budget meeting coming up here soon. Because I think in the past, nobody's been educated about what their options were. So when we have this budget meeting, if for some reason you don't like what you hear in this budget, you have a certain amount of time, and I believe it's 30 days after a budget meeting, the owners have 30 days to,
I would have to check. Are you talking about contesting it?
yeah,
I have to check your docs to see if there's anything specific, but as long as it doesn't go over 115% of your budget, then usually that's what triggers it, is anything over 115%.
Okay. So we're gonna give you more details on it later, but when we do this next budget meeting and present our budget, if anybody doesn't like it, there are things you can do to contest it. Now, I think everybody also knows that we're not like the previous board. And if you don't like something, you call us up and tell us, and we're gonna have a discussion about it. The biggest problem with that is there's, 112 units. So just because one person doesn't like it doesn't mean we're going to change it, but we're at least going to make an effort and try to listen to you. And I want to go back to Victor for 413. And I think this is something everybody on the program really needs to listen to carefully, because it's been confused and blended for years. You are under no obligation, zero obligation, to change management companies. You can stay with Sky or Arnon or whoever they are this week to manage your property. They are managing only your bookings. That is it. They are not going to manage the association. In the past, they had multiple duties. They managed the association, they were on the board, and they managed your properties. But I want to make it clear, you do not have any obligation to change management companies. Just because the association is choosing to make this change, it does not require you to do it. Our new association management company does not even manage units. I was pretty sure of that, but I just verified it with her. That was one of the factors, of now that I think about it early on, that it takes away any conflict of interest. So they will not be contacting you about managing units. That's not something they do. I have been getting a lot of emails from people on the program asking why their dues aren't paid, why they're not receiving checks, why they haven't heard anything about their account for a year, things like that. If you're on the program, I need you to understand the board does not have anything to do with how your unit is managed for bookings. We do not have any bookkeeping paperwork. We cannot access how many bookings you've had. We cannot access how much money your unit's making, any financials to your unit itself. We cannot access that. The only thing we have access to is the association budget and if you have paid your dues or not. Seems like most of the people on the program are having that management company pay their dues for them. If you want to do that, that's fine. I will tell you, if they don't send that money in for whatever reason, maybe your unit did not book or whatever the case may be, if they do not send that money in, you are still responsible. You have to pay the dues. If you assign them to the duty to do it, that's between you and them, but you're still responsible. But this new management company, this change has nothing to do with the management of the rental of the units day by day. This is the building maintenance, the pool, the palm trees, the grass cuttings, and paying utility bills, paying the cable bills, and all those kind of things. So Victor, does that kind of help you get an idea where we're going with that?
Yeah, 100%, 100% answers my question. Thanks
Okay.
a lot for sharing that, Ray. And maybe, I don't want to cut you off too much, but maybe, would you mind sending me your email? So I might have a couple questions if that's cool with you.
Sure. And just in case anybody doesn't have my email, it's the one that a lot of notices go out on. It's palmparkway@raymondcox.com. RAYMONDCOX.com.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Hey Ray, may I ask you a question?
Hold on a second. I got a question on the floor.
Just a point of clarification. So Alexis and Platinum, the employees that you described are all property management only.
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to have them check that.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead with your question.
This is Daniel, Unit 218. Regarding this change on the company that is managing our condominium, usually when the same company manages the bookings of the program and the HOA, some expenses are mixed up. Sometimes employees that serve the hotel program are paid by the condominium or the HOA payroll. I'm not saying that this happens on our condominium here. Other units that I have, sometimes it gets messed up. Now that you are changing the management company and the hotel program keeps on skies, do you see any type of change on the payroll or other expenses that once was paid by the HOA and now they must be paid by the hotel program, which is using, I don't know, some area or some utility or employees of the HOA of the association, and they were not supposed to be paid by us.
I have to be careful how I answer that. But yes, there are major changes coming. The previous management company will no longer be collecting any monies or paying any bills or supplying any employees to do anything at all for the association. Platinum will be supplying all employees and paying those employees from whatever budget we allow them to work from. And they will be paying all the bills, utilities, and all that kind of thing. We have said from the start that we don't feel that the labor force was doing what we were being charged for. We were paying 45 hours per day in labor. And I don't think that we'll get a surprise. Frank has a lot of experience in hotels. I've been here and watched what's being done. We're prepared for whatever we have to do, but we will now have complete control and complete accounting of what every employee does. Before, we were kept in the dark. When I say control, I don't mean that we're going to be telling them day-to-day duties, because the management company is doing that. But we will be able to tell the management company what we would like done, and it will actually get done. We were being charged for supervisors. And in fact, I just got the June statement today and right before the meeting. And I had Frank go back and look at the meeting minutes. And in May, we eliminated the supervisor position that should not have been on our bill. And that was over $7,000 a month. And now I just looked at our June invoices, and sure enough, they took that money out for June. So now we've got to go back and collect that money from them. These are the kind of things that we're no longer going to put up with. That we gave them 90 days. We should have been working together. We should have all been sitting down, having a meeting, talking about what spaces were going to be used for what. And every time we tried to do that, we were either stonewalled or somebody came back and did something different. So we're done playing. This is it. We are completely severing ties with those companies. And you think we've gotten a lot done in the last 90 days? Hold my Pepsi, because it's getting ready to get real.
Great job, Ray. I expected that. I spoke to you in the past, and I told you I passed through this situation, and I know it's harsh, and I think you're doing a great job. But my last question is, are you already in charge of the account? Are you the one that is approving payments and checking balance already, or do you still need some help, someone from the previous management company to do that? I think this is the turning point, and this is where you actually you get the control.
So currently, to answer that, it's a little bit of both. So currently, the previous management company, up until the 31st, has the authority to pay bills and pay existing labor costs that they have, that are, if they are approved by the board. Frank and Carlos and I, all three, are signers on the other operating account and the CD and the money market account. So don't quote me on these numbers, but there's approximately $400,000 420,000 in those accounts that at this moment, we are the only signers on, and we have control of those accounts and that money. The new management company was being added to the new operating account as of the last day or two, and I think that's official. I think they now can write checks. There is probably not any money starting the first. There will be money starting to come into that account. The next collection of dues for the August dues will all be deposited into the new operating account, which Platinum will control. They will have exclusive signing rights on that operating account. That's how association management companies work. As of the 31st, the previous management companies will no longer have any signing authority to be able to write checks or do anything. Those numbers I read off earlier today are the monies that they currently have in those accounts. I believe I said 33,000 in the operating account, 14,000 in that reserves account, and 5,000 in another account. So there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 that are still in those old accounts that previous management company will have to use to pay bills and whatever they have to do between now and the 31st. That is approved by the board. So one other thing, I want to make sure everybody keeps telling me good job. I hope everybody realizes how much Carlos and Frank, Shelly and Stacy and Aaron and man, I shouldn't have named names because I can tell you what'll happen is now I want to forget a name. Grant. There is a lot of people doing things. People have put out, half the people on this call put out money before we got on the board to help make all this happen. And don't think we haven't forgot about that and that we're going to do something about it once everything is all shaken out in the budget and everything has gone well. You know, a lot of you got people sent money to us to help keep things going, thousands of dollars. And so everybody here has made a joint effort to get this to happen. And I'll tell you what, when you get to start seeing some of the pictures in the next month or so, all the upgrades and the things happening to the building, hopefully everybody's seeing all the positive reviews from the shuttle company. You know, I'm getting guests every day. There's another question about the shuttle because it's so important to these guests and they really like it. Another thing we're probably going to do in the next meeting or two, we're waiting for the quote from the shuttle company to officially add Epic to our shuttle. And Epic doesn't open until next year, but people are already starting to talk about it and starting to book things because the new announcement's open. And we want to make sure that that's in our advertisements now, that we're going to have a shuttle going to Epic because it'll help get those bookings going up there. So there's a lot of people have really put a lot of work into this. Frank found the shuttle company. He found the ticket sales company. Shelly and Grant found the tile companies that are doing the tile and help pick out the new tiles. Everybody needs to realize just how many hours and hours of work goes into that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people doing it. So I need to get back on track because I start talking. Let's save this for
That's
after.
true, Ray. Let's save this. Thank you all.
Yeah, let's save this stuff for after. Let me get these last two motions because Frank is probably falling asleep. He's so sick, and Carlos is traveling. All right, we have several bids for paint in the lobby. This one I'm really happy about because I thought we were not going to be able to do it when I got the initial bids. The initial bids for the lobby, there were either 2 or 3 of them that were $11,000 for the upper half, I'll call it, of the lobby because it is 30-foot ceilings. And then I had this idea of putting Mickey Mouse murals around the upper lobby that are no longer in copyright. That initial cost for that mural was $20,000. So obviously that was not going to happen. that combined with the painting itself, we were at $31,000 for that upper lobby. We have gone back and talked to the artist. We figured out from having him do a small mural in my unit to test the system that he did not have to have a thick base coat of paint. We could basically eliminate painting the upper walls, let him do the painting and add it into the mural. So now instead of a cost of $31,000 to do what we think is going to be like a very big focal point of the whole property. So instead of that costing $30,000, we've now got that down into the 13 or 14,000 range, which is only a couple thousand more than the initial quote to paint the whole lobby because they have to bring a lift in and it's 30 feet up. We would have to also pay the cost of the lift. So his 13,000 plus 1,200 or so for the lift, we're looking at somewhere in the 14,000 range. I'd like to make a motion that once he submits the proper insurance and all the things that we get him started painting and doing these murals.
Okay, Ray, I will go ahead and second that motion.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Are we finalized on their scheme and all that?
Color is next. Color is right after we're voting on the painting and then color. So Stacy, in unit 119 had asked if we had the color. So this is just who's doing the work, and then we're going to go into the color on two different things here in just a second. Any other questions? Sorry, I can't.
No,
I vote yes.
No. Okay. All right, Carlos votes yes. Frank?
I vote yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That motion
I vote
passes.
yes as well. Yep, okay.
Wall colors, I would like to stay out of personally, because I don't care what color I pick for anything, somebody's not gonna like it. So what I have done, I usually do, not just for colors, but even like the shuttle, I usually do two different types of surveys. I'll go on different websites and I'll do a Facebook poll, sometimes even on the little chat group that somebody started for the group or for the owners here. And I'll take those poll results. Sometimes I'll email 10, 20, 30 individual owners. So I do it two different ways. One way is as a group, but it seems like every time I do it as a group, then there gets this little argument going, or some group members sway the other group members. So I do both. I do a group poll, and then I send emails to individual owners, or I have somebody else send emails or text individual owners, get those owners' opinions, and then we kind of tabulate everything and get kind of what it seems like the majority of everybody wants. Carlos, do you want to give us your thoughts on the wall colors for the paint? I'm biased because my units are painted repros gray and dust of mist, or mist of dust, or something like that, whatever it is. So I am not going to vote on this. I'm going to leave it to Carlos and Frank. I know they've talked to quite a few people, and so I want to ask.
Do you need to vote on a color?
I think the board should vote on a color. They've all talked to the different owners. I think the board should agree on what color we're going to go with.
Sure, I thought the decoration committee was.
Pardon?
I thought the decoration committee was making that decision.
The decoration committee doesn't vote on it. They put the recommendations out and then the board votes on what to
Well,
actually.
that's what my question was related to. Did you guys have a recommendation for a color yet?
Yes, and it's been quite the discussion.
I think.
So, Carlos, do you want to put forward a color?
Yeah, hey, great. Okay, so I think there was a lot of thought put into this, and we decided to go with the dress mist color.
Okay.
And I think, I think it represents the hotel well, and what we're looking to achieve for the overall the property. You know, I mean, we're also, I mean, for my side, we're also involved in a lot of you know, 4-star, 5-star hotel properties in Barbados. You know, so I'm always involved in that sort of decision making process. So we know what's current, you know, what's trending in the world, you know, not just our little space, but all over the world, you know, what different people from different markets are looking for. So I think that color works, you know, the best. So that's, you know, that's my recommendation.
What was the color inside?
Drift of mist.
Yeah.
This is Grace. I have no preferences for any particular colors, but for the most part, when people do staging and stuff, they try to use the neutral colors. That's as far as I know about it. Because if we make it like too specific, it can be like, somebody likes it and somebody not like it. But, if it's more general, like neutral tones, I guess, it would be more acceptable to everybody, or the general market. And I mean, if you're talking about special designs, usually the decorator would put together like a little samples, and then I mean, that would be something for people, for, like say owners or whoever, is voting on it to make a decision. But if we just talk about, this color, that color, it's very confusing.
Okay, so we did have 2 decorators. I only spoke with them once, but I believe Shelley spoke with them a couple times. We had 2 decorators from Sherwin-Williams come out. I believe one of them came to the property, but I don't want to say. I did not meet with them, but I believe Shelley met with them. I did virtual meetings with them, but they used their software, did a rendering of the lobby with these colors and a couple other colors. Drift of Mist is a kind of a neutral, not really gray. It's a very light color. It is gray, but it's a very light gray. I forget the term. I want to say warm.
Like a creamy gray.
Like a creamy, yeah, creamy gray. It is one of Sherwin-Williams' top 20, 30, or 40 colors or something. It's like according to the decorator, it is the popular, the in color. We did have one person say that one of the experts said it was dirty and ugly and didn't like it. But my answer was, I think if you ask enough experts, you're going to get the same amount of opinions from the experts. I personally have it in both of my units and have used it in a lot of places. Anyway, the decorators did a rendering. They thought it worked. They recommended it. And it seemed like everybody that I have sent it to, 99% of the people like the color. So we just decided I should say we are deciding, and I think, like Carlos said, it's probably the best color to go with.
Motion.
Yeah, Carlos, do you want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, sure, Ray. So I would like to go ahead and make a motion to pass that color Drift of Mist. Someone else wants to second that?
I'll second that.
Yeah, Frank's running out of gas here, so we're just about done here. All right, and Carlos, how do you want to vote?
Yeah,
You made
yes.
the motion. You made the motion, so I'll vote yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'll vote yes.
So all 3 vote yes. We'll pass that. Grout color for the laundry room has to be decided today. I have not sent these out to a ton of people because this actually just happened today. So there's only probably been, actually, I only sent it to board members, I guess. So one of the decorating committee people saw it, and the 2 board members. So again, I'm not getting involved in the color. On that, the tile looks great. It's a plank style tile, like a wood grain plank. It's It's a gray. I will say I was surprised it was darker in the laundry room than what I thought it was gonna be. I think it still looks good. I'm not saying it doesn't look good, but it definitely, that's one thing we have learned about these colors. Colors and carpet samples, they do not look the same, even going from one end of the room to the other. I went to Sherwin-Williams, picked out about 5, 6 different grays, and they have these 6x6 sheets of the color painted. And I literally laid 2 of them that were the same color together with another color in between. And 3 different people looked at those samples. The 2 end ones were the exact same color, but I covered up the names so you couldn't see them and put a neutral color in the middle. They look different. And I said, which one do you like out of all 3? And it was funny. Multiple people thought the 2 end colors were different colors, and they were the same color. But depending on just what angle you're looking at or whatever, they're so close, but it still looks different. So we're trying to be really careful, but these colors always constantly change. Anyway, the tiles in are starting to go in, looks really good. Frank, either you or Carlos, somebody tell me what color grout we gotta have, because they're gonna grout tomorrow.
Well, Ray, I can give my opinion here. Sorry, you want to say something, Daniel? Or
Make the motion.
Well,
Sorry,
I
guys.
think,
Yes, I was sorry, Ray. I was about to ask you about and do you plan to finish this renovation on the hallways and the painting and new tiles, the new planks?
let me come back to that one once they pick the grout color for the laundry room. And and let me specify this grout color is for the laundry room and the ice machine areas. Doesn't have to be the same, but I assume we want the same grout color for all of them. So, or Daniel, I should ask. I mean, does your question about the hallways have something to do with how the ice machine room and laundry room would look?
Overall, how is your schedule on these new tiles and painting? Doesn't matter if you mean the hallways or the other rooms. What's the plan and to finish? What's the plan for the overall renovation?
Mainly just neutral colors, very light and bright. In the
I think he wants
grayish.
another timeline, right?
Oh, timeline? The
Yes, exactly. The
Okay.
timeline, the schedule for this.
Okay, sorry. So let me go back to the motion then, and I'll come back to the timeline, because Frank needs to get off here. So Carlos, what color are you thinking on grout, and why would you say on that?
right. So because it's a grayish tile. It's a wood grain grayish tile.
Like
So
a plank.
basically,
So
plank.
they're 48 inches long and 8
Right.
inches wide, like a plank tile.
Right. So it has a wooden effect plank gray tile. So I would from seeing that tile, I would recommend, and this is from what I've seen in the industry, from high end interior designers, what they choose and why they choose it. We would go with a silver grout that would sort of blend back into that tile white, because if you use so first off, if you use white right on that,
It'll turn black.
right.
Yeah, you
So
can't
you
use it.
get
You
it
get
turning
dirty.
yeah. Right, it will turn dirty, right? That's one thing, and then this is stark transition on that. Like if you take a vinyl floor tile plank that you clip together, there's normally no space in that, right? They butt each other very closely, so you don't see the transitions in it. So it's a similar effect. You want to get that same effect as if you were putting on a vinyl flooring in your room. And now if you go with a too dark of a grout, like really darker than that gray, it's also going to start getting darker and darker and darker, and you would just see the transition so much. So I recommend the silver for that. I mean, and notwithstanding that you can if you're using a penny tile in a shower, yeah, you can use like a white penny tile and use a dark gray grout, but that's a different scenario. You know, but for this, the wood grain plank, I recommend us matching the grout to the tile.
Yeah, like a shower, like you're talking about, you can get away with
Yes.
using a white because it's
Yeah.
constantly getting cleaned
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not gonna get
But
all dirty. But you can't go with a white or really, really, really light color because it'll just
No.
get dirty.
And that example is as well on those little penny tiles in the shower floor. You can use a dark grout on a white penny tile. That's a style, you know, a look. But for a wood plank gray, you don't want to see the transition. It's going to cheapen the whole look.
So you're saying blend the
Yeah.
tile together?
Yeah, that's why I would recommend the silver kind of blends back in, you know, so it looks like there's not much of a transition, you know. It looks like just one flowing floor, wood floor.
All right. I know
Yeah.
I sent you pictures of that whole big like grout tile thing and I
Yes.
laid it on top of the tiles. And I
Yes.
think I did it in like 3 different lighting. But I couldn't go in the laundry room, I guess, but I did it in the hallway and 2 different bright lights. So
Yeah,
I
I
can
believe
count how many over it is if you weren't able to make out the color, or were you able to make out what color it was?
let me see here. I think it was yes, it was the pearl gray. It was the one that was the closest match, I believe. The pearl gray is the one that kind of blends the best with that tile.
Frank, I know you weren't feeling good, but
Actually,
were you able to see any of the grout colors?
Yeah. I agree with Carlos. So I saw it.
Okay.
Same.
You guys both picked the same color?
Okay. Sorry, Ray, just let me clarify because they're very, very close. Actually, it's actually on the picture when you sent it, the silver actually kind of looks the closest, even more so than the gray. So the gray actually looks a bit darker. And you'll definitely see the darkness when you lay the whole floor down. So I mean, I think the silver would be a better transition grout for the, yeah.
All right. I'm trying to get the color before I can.
Yeah, it's
So you said it was on the message I sent to the board.
yes, it was the first photo, right? It was so you put 2 of them, right? It's the one on top. It's the one on top. So it's the first picture you sent where you show the 2 examples on the actual tile. And it's the one on top. You see that one? So I don't know the exact name of that one, but I think it's silver.
I'm looking here right.
The pearl gray.
Yeah, it's silver 27. And then I think the gray was the one below it, which was darker. So
Or the DeLorean gray.
yeah.
All right. What I'm gonna do, I can see the picture here, but I can't make out the color. I can count over how many it is. So what I'm gonna do, if you guys like that color, I'm just gonna make a motion, we use that color, and I'm gonna have to go back to the chart, count over how many things in the little bin it is, and I'll pull the sample out and get the color and the number. And then I'll add that to the meeting minutes
There's not a time.
later, I guess. So,
But you're approving gray, right?
This one was looking brown in the image on that where the film.
Or in silver.
Ray, if I may, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but knowing that you guys are going for the paint on the walls and the lobby, and then the laundry room, maybe next the gym, and so on. So, have you guys ever intended or tried to consult like an interior decorator, like a professional commercial one, like for boutique hotels and style? So maybe they can render a design and then try to do it on our own pace rather than just picking colors and choosing what will be best matching for the property.
well, we've done multiple things. We really can't be spending 10 or 20 grand to have a decorator come in. what we do utilize is whatever services are available, like the Sherwin-Williams decorators that helped us with the colors. And then there's probably,
And again, these are, laundry room, ice machine area. I think maybe for a lobby, we could consider that because it's the main focal point, but these are, ice machine laundry rooms.
so,
Right, I'm just saying that we're going on little by little overall the entire property,
but
except for the rooms, so might as well try to get a professional approach to a modern look, a contemporary design that people are gonna like, and base it on professionals, right? I mean, all due respect, I really appreciate what you guys do, and I understand you guys have much more knowledge about this, especially you guys being in
Let-
the hotel and in different hotels.
let's do
There's
this,
always
let's
gonna
do
be.
this final motion on the grout so that Frank can go. And then,
So the motion from Carlos was silver, right?
no, silver's not, is it? I'm trying to make out this picture, Carlos, and I'm counting over is it pearl gray?
So the one at the one at the top of the tile, you have two on the tile. It's the one at the top. I believe that because the one at the bottom is more brown.
All right, let's make the
I'm
motion to use the grout that is on the top of the tile in the picture, and I'm gonna have to go get the number and the color because I can't read it from this. So the motion is to use the grout that is laying on top of the tile in the picture. I don't think we gotta get too technical on it.
It's basically a silvery gray color,
It's
a
a s-
yield to be named later.
Yep, it's silvery gray,
Identical. Okay,
silvery gray color.
so I need a second from someone.
Somebody wanna second that?
I can second that. I'll go ahead and second that motion.
All right, Frank, you wanna vote on it?
I vote yes.
Okay, Carlos, you wanna vote?
I vote yes.
I'm not voting on colors. So you'll have to pass it with those two. All right,
You don't want the only time in your career that you've seen
That's-
beyond the colors.
that's the only thing, those are the only things we have to vote on tonight. So let me let Frank go because I know he's really not feeling well.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Now, everybody doesn't have to hang out. Alexis is here, can answer questions, and I wanna go back to Daniel's questions about the decorators and stuff, but I wanna make a motion to adjourn the actual meeting, and we can all stay and discuss a lot of these colors and what Alexis can do for everybody and things like that.
Who's seconding?
Somebody wanna second the adjournment?
I second that motion.
All right, so
Yeah, 7.
8:24 PM, we're adjourned.
Can
Yes.
I, a couple of questions real quick before I leave?
Okay, all right, so we're adjourned. Stacy's got a couple of questions, and then I'll come back to Daniel's and any questions for Alexis.
I just have 3 quick ones. So just sitting here in the breakfast seating area, I'm feeling the crustiness, the shirt just stuck to the chair. Do you have any budgetary plans for this? I know you have some ideas.
So we currently have 15,000 in the budget for furniture. And let's come back to that one. Go to your other 2 questions, and I'm gonna explain, because part of what Daniel's asking is part of what yours is.
Okay, so that's one thing. Just sitting here during board meetings, I get to feel how disgusting this room is, and
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
bad.
wondering if there's a plan already in place or
There
to
is.
get to that, because I know there's a lot on the table right now. Same question kind of with the pool rehab. I know that you said
The
in
pool
28.
rehab is in the budget. We're waiting on some more quotes. Frank said he'd like to see us do it in September.
That's what I was wondering.
I kind of agree. We really, hurricane season coming, if a hurricane hits, we're gonna have trouble getting contractors, it's gonna be a mess, and we really do not want to get into November, December. And, some people will say, oh, well, that's when it's cold out. Well, the people that are saying that's when it's cold out, they're Floridians, and they don't want to get in the pool because it's cold. But all the people coming here for vacation, for busy times, that's when they want, and they'll go out in those pools, and then in the ocean when it's freaking freezing here.
Well, I just
So-
wanted to express my concern with the idea of we're getting a lot done and I really appreciate everything that's getting done.
I know, but it keeps causing problems again.
No, that's not where I was going at all. What I was gonna say is, I don't know because I've never done those kind of projects, like, if you're trying to do the pool wall, this is getting painted, like, how much is gonna be going on at one time in your mind so far?
It's gonna be a lot. We're gonna be painting the exterior of the building. And immediately following that will be the pool. We need to do the painting first because there could be some damage to the pool deck. There could be overspray, there could be anything. So then we want to do the pool itself and then the pool deck last, so that that's the finishing touch as we leave. But we also have a problem with the pool right now, has some nasty staining to it. We gotta try to find somebody that can acid wash it and get it looking better. Really don't want to spend the money to acid wash it right now, but it looks so bad that we really can't wait. We need to get that done.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with my guests tend to give a lot of feedback and like, if there's a lot of amenities not available, that's gonna be a problem more than anything to do with like maintenance. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like maintaining painting is one thing.
Shouldn't be
but
more than that
pool's
amenity. Should-
obstacle construction at the same time, that's what I was worried about.
No, and the rest of the things we're doing construction on, with the exception of the tile, and then later the carpet, should not affect the guests. Like when we're painting, it should be to one side or the other side. The tile is gonna be the really, really rough one for this lobby, because it makes a mess. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, but I actually feel like we have doors in between units in the lobby and that'll.
Right, noise won't be an issue, but the dust and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just seeing what's going on in the laundry room, the dust from that, this is gonna be ugly. Now, I'm gonna try to see if there's some extra steps we can go with some kind of the machine that gets the grout up. And here, they'll use a ride-out machine. I'm hoping that it'll have some kind of vacuum systems or something that's gonna help that. We're gonna try to do something with that dust because, well, the fire alarms went off today because the dust got out and went into the smoke alarm, so we
Yeah.
set the fire alarm off.
Yeah, that's what's going on when I talked to you on the phone earlier today at my house.
Right.
But the third question is just, I just want to say hi, welcome, and, I did get your email and I saw that there's an app and I love it already, that there's that much information out there, but like when we're planning on documents and things like that being available to the ownership,
There-
like, is there a time frame you usually try and do that? Is it like, cause we're so used to not having much?
We're already doing it. She sent me, a company that does that website. We're literally in the process of getting that site. I don't want to promise, but I would say possibly a week would be up and running. And then you won't be able to upload documents until you start getting stuff after the
Correct.
first one.
So we're still gonna provide your basic documents on the website. You'll get your budgets, you'll get your financials, governing documents, any other very specific documents that you need to have that are of association. And then maybe any notices, things that they want us to put up. But what they're gonna be working with is a vendor called Condo Sites. That's what they're working with, correct?
Mhm.
And that's a permanent website for the association. So even if down the road one day, which I hope you don't have to, change management companies, that website will stay. So you don't lose all that progress during that time. And that was a recommendation I made to them, being that your condos, now you're gonna be required because now they made it for anything over 20 units, having a website. And then that way you guys have a long-term website that the association maintains and you have continuity. That way you don't have it disappearing every time there's a change.
And,
But we'll still have documents for you on your portals when you think.
and to add to that, everything that we're doing, we're trying to do it in a way that we can be independent, or we're not reliant. If they disappear tomorrow or we get mad, we hope not, but if they did, we're not gonna be in the same position we are now. This half of this mess is because everything was tied to one person and their habits, like our insurance. We paid more this year for insurance because we didn't have a appraisal that we were supposed to have. It's state law. We were supposed to have it every 36 months.
Right.
The insurance policies we had, you were on those emails. The insurance broker said she, in 16 years of insurance, has never seen such a, I won't use that word, mess. We didn't actually have insurance. We paid $200,000 last year and did not actually have insurance. We were listed as an additionally insured, so kind of we would have had some claim, but we did not have, out of all the policies, I think 2 or 3 were actually in our name, like $8,000 or $10,000 worth of policies were in our name. None of the rest of the policies were even in our name. It was another company insuring their company and listing us as additionally insured, which is, I'm told, illegal.
And that's all taken care of. We have a new policy.
We have a new policy that's 100% in our name.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And so next year, here's another problem. Every time you have a claim, or at least the way I've been brought up, when you have a claim, insurance companies tend to raise rates, and you end up paying more. Part of our policy was based on 6 claims. I think it was 6. Maybe don't quote me on that, but I think it was 5 claims were in other locations, not even related to our building, had nothing at all to do with us. We had 1 claim in our building, and I think 5 others in other buildings. So those 5 claims were technically on our record because we're tied into this insurance with another company for other buildings. And now we had to pay more. Next year, that drops off our record completely, and we won't have to pay any extra on that insurance. But everything is 100% in our name now. All of our insurance coverages are more. We actually have more coverage now, with one exception. So like we added workman's comp, and a couple other things. The one thing we did do is we increased our deductible. So technically, if a named storm comes this year, it would hurt us. I did a lot of research, and I hope I'm not wrong, but we saved a lot of money by increasing our deductible from 50,000 to 100,000 on a named insurance, knocking a named storm, knocking our building down. If we were on the coast, I wouldn't even consider that. But here in Orlando, I think it was a good savings versus the risk. So it saved us some money, and we went up on the insurance policy there.
So we are going to have an app that's regularly updated, which it sounds like you guys already have that all worked out. So yeah, I was just concerned because I know with our HOA that we live in our homes and all that stuff, with all the new HB bill and all that coming out, there was a lot of requirements, and I just wanted to make sure we get there.
We already,
Yeah, condos were already required to do all that, now it's just caught up to the homes.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna iron all that out for you guys, and you'll have both, and then that way, there's continuity.
Yeah. Everybody on the call, you'll get an email. So the old website, which I don't think anybody, technically, most of us didn't find out about it until a month or 2 ago, but that old website is going to be gone, and there's going to be a new website where you can log in at any time and see the budget documents, see the governing documents, see bids, and basically any kind of financial information that you want to see. There's going to be a lot of stuff on there where you could just click in and take a look at it. And, you know, this board is not all about, oh, you got to submit a 10-day request and jump through this hoop and do this. You know, we're going to try to get the information up where you just click on a website and take a look at it. We're not going to hide anything, if that makes any sense.
So, so just really quick before I out, the things I was asking about before, the pool and this room and that kind of stuff, are those kind of in the works in the background with the tile already going on and the laundry and the
We're getting quotes on all of it. Scheduling.
Quoting section right now?
Most of it's quoting. Some tile work is being done. Some paint work is getting ready to be started. The stairway Some of these things we don't have timeframes on because we don't know how long they'll take.
Right.
But so, for instance, the stairway by the front elevator started getting painted today. We chose that because it's, number one, it's a stairway. So if we don't like the color, if it's a shade too light or too dark, it's not really gonna affect everything. We even could repaint it if we had to, if we really didn't like it, but it seems to have come out really nice. It seems bright. We weren't sure what to expect. Our first quote on painting that stairway was $29,000 to paint all 3 stairways. $29,000 just for the stairways. The single person here, one of our new maintenance guys, that's gonna be here full time, started at 7 o'clock this morning, and I wanna say he worked a little late. I think he worked till 5 or 6, but he is almost halfway done with that first stairway already. He actually has it painted up to the 3rd floor, but he's got a little bit of trim work and stuff, so I don't wanna call it done to the 3rd floor. My guess is he will be done with that stairway by Friday, maybe sooner. So that's 3 days of salary, so $600, and he's got 1 stairway done. We're on one thing of paint on that stairway. Let's round it up and say 2 to $500. So we're gonna be about $1,100 or $1,200 in total cost to paint that stairway. Times that times 3 stairways, we're at $3,300. Our quote was $29,000.
Well, that contractor probably hadn't won the lottery yet.
No, I'm seeing this on a lot of the contractors. One of them tried to quote us on renting the lift for the lobby. His quote on renting the lift was $2,600. We went straight to Sun Equipment. We're having trouble with the logistics. Straight to Sun Equipment, that same lift is $1,200. They're all just doubling and tripling these prices. The hallways, now that we've seen his work and we like his work, this new maintenance guy, I'm gonna test him in one more spot first, but every indication is he's a really good painter. He's gonna start painting the hallways. We're probably not going to paint the next 2 stairways yet. We'll probably leave that front one painted and we'll probably just jump right in and start painting the hallways, get them done, get them looking good.
They're doing baseboards, I saw.
That baseboard actually is getting sent back.
That's the plan.
But yes, everything.
When he paints, he's gonna do this.
So he will not do the baseboard right when he paints. The baseboard will get done after the carpeting's done. So the baseboard, it's not even really a decision. Currently, we have carpeting baseboard. The carpeting companies don't even do that anymore. It's so outdated that they don't even offer it. So we don't have to worry about, are we gonna do it? We don't have a choice. So our choices are wood baseboard or the molded rubber. Well, I think we all know we don't want molded rubber. So we are doing new wood baseboard. We found, I don't know if anybody's bought it lately, like the last piece I bought at Lowe's was $289 a lineal foot. We found a place we've been negotiating with, and we're at about $1.50, $1.60 a lineal foot. And we're gonna do a 7 1/4, probably. It'll be taller than the trim. What we wanna do is once we paint the wall, we want the new baseboard to be higher than the paint line from where the old trim was. So it covers it up, it looks all nice and new and fresh.
Nice.
Yeah, and fresh caulk.
Okay.
Um,
So right now, the current things that we see going on, is there anything else that's scheduled to start overlapping with that, as far as you know?
Possibly the
While
tree
that's
roots,
going
possibly the tree roots, we're still waiting another quote. We've got problems with the parking lot with trip hazards and the insurance. We're trying to get on somebody's schedule to get 4 trees cut down, get those roots removed, and then we come in and fix the parking lot. I think that's gonna be minimal inconvenience because they'll be on one side of the parking lot and then the other, and they literally will cut it, re-blacktop it, and an hour later it's fixed.
Yeah.
So I think that's minimal interference on the guest. The painting, I don't feel like it's gonna be much interference on the guest because we're just paint an area and keep moving. The big one is the tile in the lobby. That's gonna be a big inconvenience for everybody. Now, we're gonna make sure that the side doors are open and where they can just walk around and not even come in the lobby and deal with dust or whatever they
I
have.
don't auto lock at 11.
Yeah, new locks are going on the doors. We're having the locks all rekeyed
Oh, look at
and,
Carlos putting his grout colors up on the screen.
so we're gonna, and the other one that's gonna be difficult, that we still don't know how we're gonna do it, and it's a couple months out, is gonna be carpet.
Yeah.
The carpet is gonna be
Well, that's why
very,
the overlapping questions. Is the tile gonna be before the carpet and then the paint, or?
so currently, the contract's already done, and all of the ice machine rooms, the laundry room and the rear entrance are all gonna have new tile within a week or two.
Okay.
They're all literally in process. Painting in the hallways is gonna start now and just keep moving until it's done. Painting in the lobby will probably start the next week to 2 weeks, depending on the insurance that we're waiting on.
You sent me today, it's what is called exemption and the vendor packet, but I'm waiting on the
Okay,
GL.
so once he gets
sent.
the proper insurance, he'll
Yeah.
start the lobby.
Okay, I was just looking for,
Uh,
because I know we have so many different things going on at once, like what's gonna overlap with what, you know, to kind of be able to inform the guests.
there's gonna be a lot. I mean, like air conditioners are gonna start arriving.
Oh, that was my other question. I'm going to.
The furniture. You know, also, I hope nobody wants it, but I'm gonna offer anyway. There's a couple of dresser things in each hallway that we can't wait to get out, throw them away in the dumpster, but if somebody wants one for their unit, they're welcome to it. Likely all these tables and chairs are gonna get either sold or done something with. Cause it sounds like everybody wants a completely new look in here.
Okay.
Oh, let me go back to the decorating, cause that was Daniel's question and yours. So we are not spending 20 grand to bring a decorator in here. We just can't do
Yeah,
that.
right.
Well, one thing we've done, a lot of people probably, I was trying to count the number before, but it's over a dozen people have started like down by Portillo's and gone into almost every motel along this strip, all the way to Disney Springs. Going in, taking pictures, figuring out what we don't like, what we do like, what works, what doesn't. And if anybody's traveling or anybody sees a picture of anything they really think would look good here, email it to us, send it to us so we get ideas. But we're going into some of these new modern buildings, looking at what they did, and then trying to bring those ideas back here. I mean, we got some pretty smart people here, so I don't think that's gonna be very difficult to do. We're not really recreating the wheel.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna come out good.
So it's all neutral colors, all pretty much the same things. You know, it's funny, we did the whole stroller thing. And we walked into 2 different motels and they already got the same strollers, got a whole stroller thing rental set up. They're doing it too.
Well, I will say thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Okay,
Thanks the board. Thanks Alexis. You're welcome.
anybody else got questions or things? I see a couple of people, I'm surprised are still with us because they don't usually stay this long.
So.
Hello.
Anybody else
Hi.
questions?
Yes, I have 2 questions, please. I'm Claudia. Hi.
Uh-huh.
I would like to know if we still a Disney Good Neighborhood Hotel. And my second question is, who's the employer of the people that's gonna be in front desk? Thank you.
Say that again about the front desk, sorry.
The employer.
Who's the employer of front desk people?
Okay, good question. Disney Good Neighbor, no, we are not. John ended that the day that the new board took over. Because the very next day, I saw all the Disney people in here removing everything. I'm not sure what the reason was or why, but literally on that Monday morning was when I saw a lot of the Disney people in here removing things. So we're not a Disney Good Neighbor hotel. Now we have sat down with 3 different attorneys. Some of them were a couple $100, but basically about $200 to $300 each. And we went to 3 different people to get opinions. There are several Disney things that the copyrights have expired, and any of those that we can safely use that the copyrights are expired, we're gonna start decorating and using those items in the motel or in the condo to give it a Disney-like feel. I can, if anybody wants to see it that has not seen it, I have some pictures of something I did in one of my units. We had the artist, I had the artist, I paid him to come in and paint some things on the wall in my unit as a test to see if he really knew what he said he knew and could do what he said he could do. And that's who we're gonna hire to paint some of these things on the lobby walls up high to give it a kind of a cool Disney feel. We've also been looking at some Disney pictures in Disney Springs that we would go and purchase and hang in the hallways. So it seems like the common theme is to give it a very Disney-like feel, neutral colors, mostly in the lines of grays. Does that help answer the Disney part of your question?
This is Grace.
Okay.
So I mean, I've seen how your units are decorated. It's really very nice, with the Disney characters. But it seems like this hotel, this property serves more than the Disney. It's like
I would disagree. I can tell you, I've seen, number one, I belong to a lot of statistic companies where I can download things. And John and I had this discussion when somebody was here, a salesman was here talking about stuff. 80 to 90%, probably higher, but at least 80 to 90% of the demographic that's coming here is going to Disney. There's a small portion that while they're here, they go to Universal and SeaWorld, but the majority of this demographic is 100% coming here to go to Disney. And if you like, I can send you some data that will back that up. In fact, one thing I can tell you is you come here and watch our shuttle leave in the morning and see how many people are getting on that shuttle and going to Disney. It's 100%. That's our demographic.
I just want to tell you that somewhere I read that it was not kind of difficult to be part of the Disney's Good Neighborhood hotels. For example, they request you to have shuttles to the parks, to the theme parks. Also, they request to send tickets in the hotels, something like that. There's some kind of list that we have to accomplish and to take that distinction. So they're gonna put our name in their websites, in the Disney websites.
Yeah. So we've checked into that a little bit, and temporarily we put that on hold because one of the requirements for that, if I'm not mistaken, is to be a AAA approved hotel. And somewhere along the line in the last couple of years, because of no updates or whatever, we've lost that AAA designation. So our plan was to do all these renovations, get our new roof on, get the new carpeting, get the new decorating and painting and everything done. And then sometime after the first of the year, go back to AAA, go back to Disney and see if we can get on these programs. I've also heard, and I don't know much about this, but I've heard that those Disney programs are much more difficult to get on right now. I've heard that they used to be easy, but with the current economy, Disney is, I don't want to say struggling because that's not the right word, but like if you go on to like Facebook groups like Disney Tips and Tricks, one of the big topics the last couple of weeks is people are getting free upgrades to different resorts. And what Disney does is instead of lowering their prices, they move people around inside of their resort and give them like what they call free upgrades. And then now their lower price rooms are back in the market and they get more sales. That way they're not compromising their price on the nicer places. Yes, they're giving it away, but at that same lower price, but they're not putting it out there on the market to where other people are waiting and saying, oh, I'm going to watch for, the Polynesian to come down in price because they never lower those. So to answer your question, we will be going back and trying to get that designation, but it'll be after all the renovations are done after the first year.
Thank
And
you,
then
great. And the last question was, who's gonna be the
the front
employer?
desk.
Yes, how's that?
Okay, so let me clarify how that works at the moment too. So our building has multiple different parts to it. Each unit is owned by the unit owner. The commercial unit is owned by Sky Management, so that is theirs. The commercial unit is not the front desk. It is the office areas behind that front desk. Then we have what's called common areas, which are the elevators, the hallways, and the lobby area. And then an additional one is something called a limited common area. So any of the common areas, all of the owners control what happens in those common areas. The board can vote and make changes and do things in those common areas. The limited common areas, we all still own a portion of that, but technically it is there for the profit and the use of the commercial unit, not for us. It's there for their use, but it has to benefit the entire condominium association as a whole. So as long as that front desk is used in a way that is benefiting everybody, like answering questions when somebody walks up, handling an emergency, thing like that, then that front desk will continue to operate just the way it is. Sky it's there though for their profit. So it'll be their employees, they will control them. They tell them what to do, what not to do. They pay them, and it's for their management program. The board is going to go back and make another offer. We used to contribute 2 hours per day to their payroll of the people behind that front desk. We're likely going to go back and make an offer to reinstate that, as long as they're going to do some things that will help the whole condominium. If things don't go that direction, if they choose to shut down the front desk, or they don't want to cooperate and handle emergencies or whatever in the building, then we're going to put a new front desk in across from it and have a guest services desk in the lobby where we're allowed to have it. We're wanting to work with that company for any of the limited common areas if they want to work with us, but we're not going to be held hostage. We have analyzed each and every LCE area. We know exactly what they should be used for according to our declarations. And as long as they're used for the common good, we don't care that they're getting profit. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter if we care or not, because that's what the declarations say. It's for their profit. So as long as they're using it for the common good, we have no argument and we would make no argument. But there's certain areas that they're currently using that are not for the common good, and that's going to have to change. Just like the meeting rooms did when we first took the position on the board, they were being used for their offices, for their personnel. You guys probably don't get to see the bills, but we're already noticing a drop in the electric bill now that those aren't being used as a 1,500 square foot office every day. Each and every LCE area has a specific purpose. The board has looked at every one of them, and if we can work together, great. If not, we will use the rest of the common space and we will build and adapt and make whatever we need to function as we are now or better. I think it'll actually be better. If we need a restaurant bar area, we'll put it in our common areas. If we need luggage storage, we'll figure out a way to put it in our common areas. If we want to sell snacks and sodas and all that kind of stuff, we'll do it in our common areas. If we need a guest services desk, we'll do it in the common areas. Like I said, the building was designed a certain way, and we prefer to use it that way, but we will use those declarations to our advantage, and they're not going to hold us hostage. We're gonna make things happen and get it done. I probably
Ray, I have a
rambled a little
question.
too long there. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, quick question. So this may not be a priority, but I was just wondering if it's ever spoke about. But as we renovate the hallways and all that stuff, I was wondering if you discussed about possibly the elevators getting updated because they look a little outdated also.
Yes, so I just reviewed the budget a few minutes before the meeting, and this month we're over budget on the elevator cost. And I don't know how many people get to use the elevators, but I know the second center elevator never works correctly. I can't say that we have dug in completely on the updates. We are going to retile the floors of the elevator in the next couple of weeks. That is actually already in process. The walls has not been discussed yet, but it needs to be. But the actual mechanics of the elevator, when I get some time, and it's going to be a couple months, I would like to explore the cost of, replacing is not the right word because they don't actually replace the whole elevator car. But yes, a new, more modern, I've been told that we're about 250 to 300,000 for a complete new elevator system for each one. I don't know. I don't have that from very good authority though, so those numbers may be way off. I don't know. But if we're spending $60,000 to $70,000 a year in maintenance and upgrades right now, I'd like to see if we could possibly next year just replace the elevator completely. So it's not really, to be honest, on the radar today, but it's coming in the near future. Another problem with our elevators is certain parts to those elevators are becoming obsolete where they may not be made anymore. So we'd have to either make the decision to stock some of those parts so that if they broke down, we'd have them, or like I was saying before, replace the whole elevator. But that's a pretty lengthy thing that I not only need to do the research on, I need to learn about it to be able to make any educated decisions or anything like that. So not anything in the next 3 to 6 months, I don't think. Anybody have questions for Alexis on how the new management is going to work or setting up your accounts or anything like that? Because we're kind of keeping her here, and we're all going to get access to the
You
app,
can always email us
Yeah.
and call us. We have no problem helping them.
the new website and the new app and everything. We're all going to have access to that.
I've had a lot of people sign up, so that's
Yeah.
good.
It sounds like some of them already transferred their auto pay. I've been getting notices on that.
Good.
So
But if anybody has questions, they can call us during the day, they can email, Yesenia information is up on the welcome letter in the top right corner. She's gonna be the official community manager for you guys.
okay.
And so if anybody has questions, they can always email her and she'll get back to them right away.
There'll be a whole string of emails go out for everybody for maintenance and dues and information and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of that stuff's gonna come out.
I would like to ask if there is going to be a representative of the new company 24 hours in the building, or in case of an emergency, we have to call a special number to ask for help.
So their employees, which would be our maintenance people, housekeepers, and things like that, there will always be somebody in the building 24 hours a day, yes.
We do have it after hours.
Yeah,
phone
and
number.
after hours, and they all have the after hours phone numbers. We will all have after hours phone numbers. An actual,
Emergency.
yeah, for emergencies. Now, an actual, like, say, supervisor person at this moment, probably not. She said that, I talked to her earlier today, our new Cam, said that she's only 10 minutes away, so she'll be here frequently. I was also told that if we could give them some office space, that they would likely station somebody here. And that would not cost us extra, right? If we give them office space. So as we start,
Guaranteed hours or anything.
right, not guaranteed hours, but
But
their office will be here, so they'd be here a lot. So as we're doing all these things like I'm talking about with the lobby and all these different places, we're trying to figure out just where we would put different things and how we would do it. If we're able to incorporate an office, then yes, then they actually probably would be here. Not 24 hours a day, but every day,
yeah.
every day. Yeah. I will tell you, I've already gotten better service with them not on site than I was getting from on site. So,
Thank you.
So in case of an emergency, we have to call a number that the
Correct.
company
It's
is
the
gonna give.
office number.
Okay.
yes,
They can call the number that is listed in the welcome letter. That's our main line.
Yeah.
After hours, there is an option to press 1 to get to the after hours service.
okay, so the welcome letter that you all received today has their main number. And when it answers, if it's an after hours emergency, you press 1 and it goes right to the emergency line.
And it has to be life, fire, water, something that's an emergency for them to, for us to come up.
Okay, are you guys able to hear that? I'm trying to
Sorry.
repeat some things, but
So
you know what? You want to sit down and give
It's all right. I'll try to, there we go. Hi, everybody. Alexis, nice to meet you. So our main office line does have an after hours number. If you press 1, it will go to the after hours service. It is there for emergency, fire, life safety, water leaks, anything to do with that. And of course, we're going to make sure that we custom fine tune that with the board. I do believe at some point they want to make sure that there is at least a, maintenance guy on site overnight for these issues. But in the meantime, if we need to customize our emergencies in case there's owners who have any issues, we're going to talk to them and we'll try to customize that service for after hours for them. But generally speaking, anytime you guys call the office during normal business hours, we'll be there to assist you with anything to do with your account, anything to do with the association concern. And then after hours, of course, you will always be able to get a hold of our after hours service, and they will contact the CAM if there's an emergency, and we'll be here right away. Hope that helps.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
any other ideas or questions? Sorry, I'm just checking off some paperwork, but I'm trying to listen if you guys have any more questions or anything. All right, well, I guess, that's it. You should be getting quite a few emails though from everybody with all the new changes. And we're gonna also try to do our best to get some pictures out of the painting and the new tile and all the different things happening so everybody can see what it's gonna look like. And then actually also too, as some of these upgrades get done, I'll try to take really nice pictures that you can post on your Airbnb and VRBO listings or give to your property manager or whoever it is to update some of those pictures. And don't forget, if you can help us, throw those stroller ads on there that we sent out to you last week, and hopefully we get enough stroller rentals going. It's gonna help with the next dues reduction. All right, if there's no more questions, I will talk to you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, everyone else.